My husband and I finally made the difficult decision to leave the United States. It was not an easy decision, and it came from a lot of conversations. But we finally realized we're fighting to stay somewhere that not only is he unwanted, but we're fighting to stay at a place that's just falling apart more and more each day and becoming an unrecognizable place.
American voters are sharing why they are leaving the USA because of Trump politics. They are done and packing up to move to another country. The political noise has become a physical daily weight, and for many, the only option left is to get out while they still can.
If you are thinking about leaving the United States, especially if you live in a red state, I just want to let you know you're not alone. I'm Lindsay, and me and my husband and my 2 small kids moved from Kentucky to the Netherlands 3 months ago. The number of people from Kentucky who reached out to me to ask how they could leave too has shocked me. Kentucky's a red state, right? But people don't talk about it. They might not say it out loud. But blue dots, you are not alone. Other Kentuckians want to leave. People have now reached out to me from all over the country asking for help on how to leave, and it's only growing. So the worse things get, the more people are going to be talking about leaving. And I promise I'm not trying to fearmonger, but at the acceleration that things are happening in the United States, I would plan to start moving sooner rather than later.
But if you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Well, we're looking at leaving. We're going to look at Canada and Portugal. Those are the 2 places we're looking. I can't even believe that I have to say this, but I am not going to sit and wait and hope that what we're seeing unfold doesn't actually happen. I'm not. I'm almost 60. What does that give me? Another 25, 30 years? I'm just keeping it real here. I don't want to live it like this.
People are saying the new American dream is to leave America, so come with us to CarMax to sell my car.
I moved out of America for the first time in my life 7 months ago, and all my friends from home now would say I've gotten really liberal since moving to Europe. But the truth is, I've just left America for the first time in my life and started seeing fucking reality. And the truth is, we're being lied to our entire life.
When he won the election in 2024, I think we were in shock, and so we decided to give ourselves 6 months to see how it was going to go. Those 6 months felt bad. Not only did things not get less expensive, we also had an e-commerce business that was greatly affected by the tariffs that went into place. We both worked full-time in addition to having this e-commerce business, and we still were feeling financially stretched. I think what became clear sometime in the spring, early summer, is how different the United States was going to be after his presidency. It wasn't going to be like, okay, well, if we can get through these 4 years, then it won't feel so bad anymore. There's just so much destruction that has happened, dismantling the Department of Education, the CDC, the EPA, ruining our national parks, or at least attempting to, healthcare, childcare. These are all things that are being torn down, not fixed. And so thinking about my kids' futures, it's going to be a very different United States for my kids' generation than it was for me growing up. I don't know how we would afford college for 3 kids in the United States, if I'm being fully honest. I was worried about gun violence every single day. And all of these little things, I think, something clicked in the early summer where I was like, oh, this is irreparable damage, or at least damage that's probably not going to be fixed in my lifetime. And that's ultimately what pushed us to do it. Just not feeling like there was a great future for our kids if we stayed in the United States.
I don't know why no one's talking about this, but there is a mass exodus of U.S. citizens from the United States. Look, I'm a real estate agent in Costa Rica. I help foreigners move abroad, move to Costa Rica, and make a life here. I've been getting a ton of stories from clients who are absolutely spent. I'm working with a psychiatrist who helps teenagers. And when I asked her why she wants to move to Costa Rica, she said, it's because I have lost all hope. My patients have lost hope. And what's worse is I have lost hope too. And how can I possibly be of service to someone else if I don't believe it's not going to get any better? So what she is doing is saving herself, packing up her bags, and moving abroad. This is where we are.
Well, here we are. It's Friday, and we are just literally minutes away from the border to Canada as we flee the U.S. Who would have thought at age 60 that this would be our day and our plan and our actions? And I know fleeing sounds dramatic and like something from a movie, but it's really true. We just feel so scrutinized and so silenced and so being portrayed as enemies within and being portrayed as domestic terrorists because we're standing up for what we believe in this country and what we believe is being violated and is going into an authoritarian regime, and is in it actually, and has been since he hit the ground running in January, the day he was inaugurated. It's really frightening, and it's really unsettling, and there's just no peace.
The rumors are true. I've decided to pack up my things and leave the United States. It was an easy decision to come to, but it was also a very easy decision to come to when you weigh out the pros and cons. I feel like life is too short, and I feel like living in this country for about the past 5 years now has taught me a lot. It's taught me a lot about how much people love to clamor about freedom and talk about safety and talk about all kinds of things, and how easy it is for them to be blinded from the reality of the situation. I felt, I'm not happy here. I felt like I'm not okay here. I'm not safe here, and neither was my family. And this has happened on multiple occasions where it was a problem. And it's not just me that's speaking these kind of words. There's lots of people. Government is going to pull up and you might not see your family again. They're literally kidnapping people in the streets. Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. We've already had enough headache with that. But the point is life is short. Life is short, and if you're not happy where you are, أَلَمْ تَكُنْ أَرْضُ اللَّهِ وَاسِعَةً فَتُهَاجِرُوا فِيهَا? Isn't God's green earth big and vast so that you could migrate in it? So that's exactly what I decided to do. Life is short. I keep hammering this over and over and over again.
I am leaving this country, the United States, in 213 days. My son and I are moving there, and I am spending day after day researching schools, where to live, how to afford this, visas, taxes, everything. And I'm angry. I'm angry because I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't have to leave this place. I shouldn't have to walk away from everything I know. But my son got death threats in school recently, and we know what that can escalate to, and of course the schools aren't handling it the way they should. Between looking for jobs for, month after month after month, with everything that's going on, with what they're doing to immigrants, with what we are doing to other countries, I can't be here anymore.
This is not life. This is not how life was supposed to be lived. We work our entire lives to have nothing. They control everything we do, say, see. They control everywhere we go. People are trying to leave the country and they're invalidating people's passports, saying that they're reported lost or stolen. You have to do that yourself with your social security number. Do you understand the severity of what's going on right now? America is not safe anymore.
The problem, Trump won, and I'm living in a red state for the first time in my life. The solution, I'm moving again. Yay! So here are the options, right? I can either move out of state into a blue state, so either to New York City, back to my friends, or Chicago. I'm going to look at the options. Or out of the country, like I've always wanted to. And I'm mainly looking at Europe, or I could go back to my home country. I'm going to give y'all what you want, because I don't want to be here anymore. I really don't. First, for Europe, I'm looking at primarily Spain or Ireland.
Well, I don't know. I'm going to be 62 this fall. I probably will retire earlier because I don't want to deal and go somewhere else for a while.
Like where?
My mate is from Australia, perhaps South America, Australia. I don't know about Canada. My niece lives there, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because over there in Canada, the same thing is taking place.
I'm just going to keep it 100 here. Things are an absolute mess in the United States, and they are not going to get better anytime soon. If you're non-white, if you're chronically ill, if you are a woman, if you are in the LGBTQIA community, if you belong to any marginalized group and you can leave, it would be in your best interest. Just live your life. What good is staying and fighting doing if you are not well enough to? If you're not happy, if you're not doing well, you can't really help anybody else.
For many, it's who sits in the Oval Office. It's about the ripple effect, tearing through our communities on a daily basis, like what we see with ICE agents and the cover-up about the Epstein files. When you hear why these lifelong voters are leaving everything behind, it chills you to the bone. It's truly a tragedy.
Listen to the shocking data coming from Gallup poll about young women wanting to leave the U.S.
Young women, ages 15 to 44, 40% of them say that they want to go.
Yeah, 40%. Are you one of these people fleeing Trump?
I had just made the executive decision that I will be permanently leaving the United States in less than a year and a half.
Holy shit, what a roller coaster that was, huh? I made that video 6 weeks ago, listing out most of the reasons why I wanted to leave the United States. Now those list of reasons has tripled in the last 6 weeks. To be honest, I didn't think shit could get any worse. I really didn't. Sure, there was the Epstein files, right? And there was ICE, but hell, those files turned out to be 1,000, a million times worse than I could ever imagine. And there was ICE agents killing innocent people in the streets. Like, what the f***? And you have the Attorney General and other political figures lying out of their mouths. It's incredible how our political figures on both parties, including our administration, are pathological liars. They lie faster than the speed of molasses. Like, it's like they shit like they got this shit on standby.
I'm leaving the United States, brother. I am fully engaged in relocating and emigrating with my family, finding one of those safe havens around the world where we can just plug in and become part of a community, become part of a globe, understand and raise my children as global citizens who are American rather than American citizens who reject the globe. One issue that I can't get past is just the willful ignorance, the civil breakdown. The idea that we can't reach out to our neighbor, the fact that we don't know what's going on in the world, like this is an American phenomenon for sure. As we distract ourselves, willingly allow ourselves to become more and more complacent, more and more apathetic to what's happening in the world, this abundance that our previous generations worked so hard for that we're wasting right now, I can't let myself be part of that. So I can continue to teach the people who are willing to learn, but there's no reason for me to do that within the confines of the United States.
If you're American and you're looking at the news right about now thinking, yep, this is the year I need to get my ass out. These are some of the countries that I would suggest you look into. These are the countries I'm looking into in case any goes left. First of all, I'll be taking my ass back to Thailand. Thailand is one of those countries that's like, listen, I'm not getting in the middle of this. I'm standing on the outside. We got to worry about our borders and keeping our people safe. We're not trying to get into international affairs like that, all right? You can get the Destination Thailand visa, which is a 5-year tourist visa, just by having enough funds and taking a class where you learn Thai culture even deeper. I already got my visa, so I'll just be going back home. The next place I'm looking into is Portugal. Portugal has been high on my list of places to visit because it's one of the top places that Americans have been exiting to. If I was looking for a place where I can move to long term and get my citizenship there, it would be this country. Portugal has a digital nomad visa, which grants you 2 years in the country, and then you can renew that digital nomad for an additional 3 years. After 5 years of residency in Portugal, you can apply for permanent residency. That is what a lot of Americans are doing right now, selling all their stuff, their home and everything, and going to live in Portugal. Another country I'm looking into is Albania. If I just wanted to get out and land somewhere where I can just feel stable for a while, this is probably where I'm going to go. I've been watching a lot of people who are doing that move to Albania, and they're saying how safe it is. It's actually really cheap there. Albania is beautiful and is not yet overrun by tourists and foreigners. So it's still a gem at this point of time. Now, don't be surprised when I pop up in one of these countries sometime soon.
My husband and I finally made the difficult decision to leave the United States. It was not an easy decision, and it came from a lot of conversations. But we finally realized we're fighting to stay somewhere that not only is he unwanted, but we're fighting to stay at a place that's just falling apart more and more each day and becoming an unrecognizable place. My husband came here to study English and to be part of everything the United States had to offer, which was a better life. The irony. Let me tell you a few things that I'm also forfeiting as a U.S. citizen that our country fights so hard to protect their interest. I am now forced to go live in another country just to preserve my marriage. This comes with leaving my family behind, leaving my law license behind that took me years and years to get. I'm not licensed, obviously, in another country, so I have to find an entirely new profession and start over entirely. Being a disabled veteran, someone who broke their back and both of their hips in the military, I am now forced to forfeit my personalized care plan that I have worked the last decade to develop with my physicians. I have medications that I take on a daily basis, and the VA does not ship them out of the country. This also just means that our kids will not really have a relationship with my family. How did we get to a place where the destruction, the waterfall of destruction is just so normalized? I can't stress enough how much I'm not trying to make this about me as much as I'm trying to shed light for those who truly don't get it yet, who should care that your fellow citizens are now being forced to leave the country to stay married. That's where we've gotten, and if that's okay with you, what the hell? To stand 10 toes down behind this administration and to support them at the expense of your fellow citizens should cause alarm bells. You should not be able to rationalize that. This is not as simple as some people are making it out to be. This will easily become a channel of watching us start over from scratch. I've got to find a new job in a country where I need to learn how to speak the fluent language and uproot everything I know. Just because I fell in love with an immigrant. Stay tuned for our journey and watch me pack up my entire house alone because I'm also robbed of any help in this process because my husband will be in ICE detention until the time that they drive him from the facility to the airport. Is America great? I have yet to see it.
So I left America, at least for a week. And I did not talk about this in advance of leaving for a couple of reasons. Number one, I was not at all sure that I would be able to get back into the country. And that was very much validated on my attempts to re-enter the country, which I'll talk about later. Number two, I honestly felt very guilty. I left the country at a time of rising authoritarianism after what happened in Minneapolis and continues to happen. And I felt extremely guilty leaving, knowing that I could be better served here or in Minneapolis. I felt very guilty. But I am burnt out. And candidly, I still am kind of burnt out, and I needed to go spend that time with my family. And what I can tell you now with great confidence is everyone I talk to outside of this country unanimously is looking at us now in this moment, and they are saying, and they literally said to me, "Why are you letting this happen? Why aren't you doing more?" And I don't have that answer for you tonight, but I just think as a moment of chronology and history, I want to get it just down that is how the world views us right now. They're looking at what's happening in our country, and they're wondering with great heaviness why we are not doing more to stop this. And for the Americans I met on my journey, what I can tell you is that sadly most of these people still have their heads down. They are putting their heads down. There is a great sense of dread and fear, but the pervasiveness of just going on with their life is pushing them ahead. They have not yet experienced the discomfort necessary to cause change. What I took away from this time was that I have been fortunate enough in my internet time in the last year not to have become unlikable or canceled, as you would say. But I can't do that anymore. It's not sustainable. Someone in my own community had actually messaged me while I was away, and they were like, hey, if there's anything we can do to help you, let me know. And I was going to go message them back, and I had realized that they had blocked me on social media. And this is a person I actually interacted with in person. And that was like deeply hurtful to me. But it is necessary in liberation sometimes to realize that you must leave some people behind if they are not willing to save themselves. But I am back now with you, and I am ready to lead when and where I can. I am here now with you. We are not alone. And we will not be asked the question, why did you do nothing? Persist.
Would you ever move to America?
No, never. No.
No interest in moving there. It's a complete hole.
No, because I am transgender.
You'd step over there and you already lose like 10 of the rights that you have here.
It's a disgusting place. They've got no NHS whatsoever. It's an absolute dump.
They just think they're the best. They're like, oh my god, we have freedom, but most other countries have freedom.
I don't like the culture, whether it's tipping, guns, the thoughts on abortion.
If you're dying or having a baby, why you got to pay for it?
There's nothing about America that I think I would prefer over here.
You don't have like free speech at all there.
I wouldn't last a minute over there, I don't think. It's definitely stricter over there than it is over here. 1000%. If I was to go anywhere in America, it'd be like maybe like Canada.
This is the reality of what's happening in America. A nation that is extremely divided, and a people moving to other countries in an attempt to secure peace in their lives. If this video resonated with you, please like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more in-depth stories shaping America, and check out the video on the screen to watch more now.